Good morning, guys. What's going on? I just dropped the boat in, and it is cold this morning. Whenever I say cold, I guess it's all relative, you know, to you guys up north to watch my videos. I say it's 50 degrees this morning. You guys think, oh, that's a short and t-shirt weather, but for me, I'm wearing pants and a jacket and a hoodie underneath it. But I wasn't really super concerned about getting out right at sunrise this morning. Typically when I come out fishing, I'm like, I need to be out on the water 20 minutes before the sun comes up if you want to have the chance to get the best bite possible. But it's so cold right now, snook aren't going to eat a top water. I mean, they might. I've caught, you've probably seen one of my first videos ever was me catching a big giant snook in 6 degrees or something like that. But I'm not too concerned about getting on a topwater bite this morning because it's been cold the past 2 or 3 days, so they're going to be laying low. But what cool opportunity might present itself today, hopefully, is that when it's cold like this in the morning, when the sun finally peaks up, these snook, they're going to move up on flats and sandbars and get up around docks, and they're going to be trying to get warm. And so you can cruise really slowly, and we might have the opportunity to sight fish for some snook today. You know, it can be challenging because they are so wary. You know, your cast has to be perfect. Like, can't be too close to their head. It can't be too far away from them. There's a lot of variables that go into it, but it's a very exciting way to catch some fish, and hopefully we can do that once the sun comes up. But right now, while it's still kind of low light, we're just gonna search cast and blind cast and throw some swim baits around some docks, and got a few artificial shrimp tied up as well. But it should be a good morning. Just cold, man. I'm cold, but it should be good. All right, I rigged up 3 rods this morning, and each one's purposely rigged for the conditions that are presented right now. We'll go from smallest to biggest, I guess. So on my 3000 right here, I have a classic DOA shrimp rigged up on it. And the purpose behind throwing a shrimp right now is it's cold. I want something that doesn't have a lot of secondary action, really. And by that, I mean, I don't want something that moves a ton, because it's cold right now. You know, everything is laying down and being slow. And with this shrimp, I'm just gonna throw it underneath docks and let it sink real slow to the bottom and just skip it really quietly off the bottom. Because when it's cold like this, even the bait fish and the shrimp and the crabs, everything slows down in the water. And so, you know, if I'm throwing a little DOA cow or some type of boot tail swim bait under there and ripping it and it's going like that, it just doesn't look right. You know, it's cold. Things are laid out right now. So, second, twitch bait. This is a Miradine right here. And while this is actually kind of erratic, it's suspending, so I can work it extremely slow. So I can throw it up beside a dock and just twitch it and let it sit for 5 seconds if I need to. Twitch it. You know, it's what, you know, bass fishermen call a jerk bait, or a suspending jerk bait. You know, you can work it really fast if you want to, or you can work it super slow. And so this is going to kind of trying to draw a reaction out of those fish where, you know, you get that dead looking little pilchard bait right in front of a snook's face and you go, zoom, and it turns sideways and they might turn up and eat it. Lastly, what we'll probably throw the most, just depends, live target swimming mullet right there. Now this, although I'll show you the tail design on it. So instead of a boot tail on these, it has this weird wedge tail. And what that does is it makes the action on the lure much tighter. So instead of a wide swinging boot tail like that, it's a tight little wobble. And that's going to come into play when it's cold like this, you know. It's like I was saying about the DOA shrimp, everything's slowed down. You know, stuff's not going to be ripping through really fast. So you want something that's a little tight swim, and I can slow roll this and it's just going to wobble right across the bottom or right along the dock pilings. So that is why we're throwing these lures this morning. Still kind of low light, as you can tell. You can barely see me, so we're good. We're gonna start throwing. Ooh, I see multiple snooks sitting underneath here. There was a few snooks sitting underneath this dock. Both were little ones, but I'm gonna, they definitely showed interest in this, but they never hit it. They came out and followed it for a moment, so I'm going to pick up the shrimp. You can throw it under and see. I'm trying to walk really slowly. It's not really happening. kid out. Here we go. Oh, come on. That's okay, he's a little guy. Golly. Look how close that thing was to breaking off when I first set hook on him. He had me wrapped around the piling first thing. Look at that. My leader's completely split in half. Ready? Bang. Alright, I'm approaching the same dock that I just had that one pop off right next to the boat, because while I was sitting there retying, I could hear fish eating underneath it. So we'll see if there's a few more chilling. There he is. The shrimp is where it's at this morning. Gosh, that one just came off on hook too, right there. What is that about? There's also a little one. That should get picked up right there. Oh, I'm on. He's underneath the dock. Better one. He's out now. He's gonna have this thing choked. Nope. Ooh, big ol' fat snook. Alright, that's a pretty big fat snook right there. I mean, he's a decent sized one. I mean, just look at the size of that big ol' eyeball on him right there. That's awesome. That is our first snook we've actually landed, even though I've had 3 on now, including this one right here. But that's pretty cool. He's very, very healthy. I'm gonna get a measurement on him just out of curiosity. 21 inches right there, a little 21-inch fat snook. The shrimp is the way right now, I think, so I'm gonna release him and get him back. Surprisingly, even though it's really cold out, he's very warm actually, so we're gonna get him back in the water. Oh my god, there's like 1,000 snappers underneath here. Mangy. Decent sized mangy too. Alright, it has been very slow, so this guy is very welcome at the moment. Just probably a little 8-inch mangrove snapper right there. I just freaking kicked my Sustain in the water. That really sucks. I'm glad I was able to catch it, but I'm gonna have to rinse this thing out real good when I get home. Another mangy. Another little mangrove. Whoa! I'll pitch up one more time and see what's good. Probably not the most exciting thing to be catching, but is better than no fish at all. That's insane. Alright, little mangrove snapper number 3 right there. I think we might get a snook sitting in front of us right here. Could be wrong. Ooh, I don't know if he swung at it or if he spooked. Oh, he turned his head. He's sitting right next to the boat. God! He swung at it, and I twitched it thinking that would get him to bite it, and when I twitched it, he spooked from it, man. Big fish just ate up in front of me on a point. Looked like a big giant jack ball chasing. Essentially the same exact dock I caught my fat snook under this morning. Come full circle here. Hey, I see a snook sitting right here. Not on the dock, but underneath this floating dock is a snook sitting. If I can get one to skip perfectly underneath this floating dock, I bet I can get bit. There we go. On. Come out of there, buddy. Fatty. I do believe that was a snook I saw sitting underneath that dock. Grab the old net. Alright, that's another decent sized fat snook, and funny enough it was underneath the same dock that I caught my one this morning, but it's a different fish I believe, because the one this morning had a torn up back dorsal fin, and this one's got a pretty clean looking one. But that's a beautiful little fat snook right there. I mean, what, that's 2 fat snook and 3 mangrove snappers, and I lost 2 little comments earlier in the morning. It slowed down a lot, but he's a beautiful little fish. We're gonna get him back in the water though. Alright, I am done. You know, it was a difficult morning. I knew today was not going to be very easy, even though it's an amazingly beautiful day. It's probably like 75 degrees out right now. Perfect skies, barely any wind. But the past 2 days, if you live in South Florida, you know, it has been so windy. Yesterday and the day before, I think it was blowing 25 all day, and then with gusts reaching up to 40. And I drove over a bridge yesterday and looked at the river, and there's 2-foot whitecaps in the river, and all of the water has been stirred up very, very badly, and there's been a cold front rolled through, so we jumped from being in the 80s all the way to this morning when I got out, it was 53 degrees out. But that being said, not a terrible day. 2 big fat snook, handful of little snappers. I saw an absolute giant snook. I'm talking over 45 inches probably underneath my boat, and the second I moved my rod, that thing shot off like a rocket and spooked, man. But that makes me hopeful that there's big fish starting to surface back up. I saw a decent sized jack today, so soon enough we're going to be starting to get into those big giant river tunas. They're going to be moving in the river soon. But today was fun. Today was really fun, honestly. I appreciate you guys so much. Thank you for all your support and all your feedback and everything. Until next time.